Okay, so hang on. Yeah. That's as soon as you said this is pretty simple. I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's gonna like do
It is
something
pretty
amazing.
simple.
So I went ahead and learned Lua, no big deal. And then I went ahead and rewrote an entire back end to catch all of this. And now it doesn't need Windows anymore. It's like, oh my God, do you realize how amazing that is?
You see,
There's
this
nothing
is
simple about this, but go
this is
ahead.
a
Yeah.
sad.
This, kids, is why you have your own documentation. I'm like flabbergasted at this. This is Beko. Good
Hello.
day. Good day, Mr. BekoPharm. So, we're here to take a look at BekoPharm's setup because you have an awesome setup. So, what got you into this setup first off?
I used to play flight sims back in the days, like when we played with Amiga and stuff like this, and not with personal computers like today. I sort of changed my mind on this and played many other games for years, and now I just came back to playing flight sims. I need a joystick, and the one I had really sucked. So I got a new one and another one, and things just started piling up.
So, by trade, are you some kind of electrical engineer? I don't think you are, right? You're in IT, or what's your background?
No, absolutely not. I'm just a developer, and
Just.
yeah, all I do is I'm being everything here. So I learn on the go.
Okay.
I check the internet. How can I do this? How can I do that? And yeah, my dad is an electrician, so I'm kind of biased on this. I have
Gotcha.
some idea. I used to toy with electronics when I was a child as well.
So you are not only a software hacker, you're a hardware hacker.
Yeah, I could say that.
Okay. I have the exact same camera that you have on your. What do you call this? Is this your HUD or what?
This in the middle is
Yes.
basically my fourth monitor, just a display, and I like to call it a multifunctional display, as it is usually called in a plane,
Okay.
because it sort of fits the same deal. It does the same job. It's just immensely more huge. This one is in fact salvaged from an old laptop, the display, and it just got a new controller for the computer. It's just a display, and I can start it.
You see all the
And
windows blink there. Of course, the windows, yeah, because it's Linux.
yeah, GNOME is like, oh, hey, there is the next display again. I switch configurations.
Yeah.
And as you can see, I can also control the display with these buttons here
Oh
on the
wow.
bottom. I
So in
can
that
feature them.
that right there though, that's the internal monitor display, right? So
Yes, yes, that's the internal controller where I can configure everything. And I usually don't have to touch this anymore.
those are mechanical switches though. Those are chunky buttons.
They are from the cheapest off the shelf arcade buttons. They are, in fact, a lid.
Oh my gosh.
Let me change the angle here a little bit, so perhaps now you can see it even better.
Wow.
Because
That
I usually like to play in the dark,
yeah.
so when I turn off the lights, and I can dim the LEDs, adjust so I don't burn away my eyes.
I mean this in the best possible way. That is a beautiful Frankenstein multi-functional display. That is like the. So how did you build the holder around this? Is this 3D printed, like the gray border and the black? How did you build that?
Now that's actually just wood,
Oh, okay.
painted wood.
Okay. Even more sturdy then. So that's great.
Yeah, I can turn it around. Just don't get a shock because it's a rat's nest on the back end.
Oh, I have no doubt. Just because it looks awesome on the front, that you hide your crimes, right?
Yes, yes, I do. I wouldn't sell it like this. I call it my little fire hazard.
Firefighters hate him for this one simple trick. By simple, we mean massive, bulky thing. Intraz asks a good question. Is it a digital dimmer or is it a potentiometer?
It's actually a potentiometer at the moment,
Okay,
but I'm
that's
going
what I
to
thought.
change this because I want to control my status indicators here as well. And
Oh,
these are
okay.
currently hard coded, and I want to tweak these as well.
Brilliant. Okay.
All right. Let's see if I can take the camera with me
That's
so
good.
you can peek behind it.
Oh, I've seen worse. I've
As you can see, it's a real rat's nest.
So what is the board there? Is that just for the monitor, or is that a control board for all of your?
This board here is an Arduino Mega, and this one controls all the switches and buttons and also the status indicators.
Okay.
So I can see on the status indicators what's the status of my ship and stuff like this, and show additional informations. And this is all powered with the Mega, and they still have some free pins.
Okay, so all of your buttons go into the Arduino Mega.
Yes, all the buttons go into the Mega.
Okay.
And on the other side,
Oh wow.
let's see. This is the controller for the LCD display.
Okay, yeah, I saw the VGA and DVI and HDMI. So okay.
Yes, it even has audio, but I don't have a speaker attached to this at the moment. Here next to it is the power supply.
Oh, dude, if you had a speaker attached to that mounted to the screen, you could have. I know you. So you play. What we were talking about earlier, DCS, Digital Combat Simulator, something like that, right? Could you, assuming it has the API for warnings and alerts, could you have it piped that specific thing, like incoming missile
Yes.
or whatever?
Yes, it has the specific API for this stuff, and you could do this definitely.
Is that on your roadmap, or do you just kind of?
It is on my roadmap.
Okay.
I have a very similar function on when I play, for example, Elite Dangerous, and there is a so-called danger flag. This is when the ship is in danger,
Mm-hmm.
and this results in my status indicator here on the left, on the top. This one starts to blink like mad.
Oh,
So I know
nice.
something is up, and I show you this in a few seconds.
Okay, cool. So let's keep looking. So the one thing that's obviously of all the bright lights here, the thing that has attracted my attention the most are the 3 red dots with the IR sensor in the bottom.
No, this is actually just my landing gear, and we have 3 LED for every gear.
Shows you whether each gear is up or down.
Yes, exactly, and the default is just red. It hasn't any data, so it just goes back to default.
Okay.
And the one in the middle is basically when you're docked. For example, when you have a spaceship and you're docked on a landing pad, and this one lights up.
Okay. Yeah. Wild Jan asked an excellent question, which is a ludicrous speed button.
For navigation, I have this engine start button when I push it. This is usually faster than light traffic, and this one is usually super cruise in Elite, and I'm actually not sure what this one does anymore. I'd have to look it up.
It is saying this is what happens with software, though, right? And it's electronic as well. Even though you created it, there's so much to all of these different moving systems. This, kids, is why you have your own documentation for your selfishness, so you can remember what's what.
I do have a documentation.
Right? Yeah, I believe it.
Yes, I have.
Okay. I have no idea what that was. I heard it through my Matrix, and a little like clapping thing came up. It wasn't through Owncast.
Yeah,
I have no idea what the hell that was. But anyway,
this is indeed usually my button to engage with speed, and I totally will add someday some indicator like in Space Wars when they say light speed and the speeds all, and I'll totally add this one day.
Light speed, ridiculous speed, and
Yes,
ludicrous
exactly.
speed. Yeah.
And I also have my emergency stop.
Oh, does that powers off the whole thing?
Yes, it powers off the Mega, but not the display, because this is another circuit.
Right.
It's basically the same, like just switching it on and off. So it's more for show, like I can punch it and.
Well, in Traz, ludicrous speed takes them to plaid.
This coming one day. I still have some space here and on the right side, and I didn't fill this yet because I was out of push buttons at the moment I built this, but I'm going to, and this is also the reason why this one is still dangling around, and there are some others in fact too, because I don't have the middle panel yet. I'm going to build a middle panel here at the bottom too.
Okay.
And this is where this one will sit in the end, and it's a never-ending project.
Well, and these buttons, the button itself is covered with other plastic, right? So labeling them is just getting like a little print and slipping it between those, right? Or do you not
Yes.
have? Are they all one piece?
You can just remove the cap and
Okay, that's what I
slip a
thought.
piece of paper between the diffuser and the cap, but you can also just print some or paint on them or whatever.
Okay. What are you planning to do with that? You painting on them or?
The ones here on the
Yeah, that's what I was
top,
looking
you
at.
can see these are the ones I just slid a paper inside to see how this looks like. This is my chef button here,
Yeah.
who dispense chef in the game, and I'm kind of happy with this, but the round ones are a pain in the neck to make, and
Oh
they
yeah.
don't look so good. And this is what I'm going to change, and I probably print some
Oh
because
yeah. No, that looks
I have
terrible.
I have a foil where I can print on with a laser printer,
Yeah.
and this will look probably a lot better when I just uh, put them on. It's self adhesive, so
Yeah.
I can just slap them on like stickers. And
Well, and this is one of those things that like you could take your time with, and but you want to do it right for yourself. Like you obviously are very passionate about doing this. So like, yeah, I see what you mean. Trying to cut paper in a circle is super not easy. I mean, there are tools that do it, but yeah, I got you there. So what's the your safety fire switch there in the bottom right?
well, um, most games feature self destruct,
Oh.
and also some games feature like dump all my cargo somewhere. In, like when a pirate requests your cargo, or if you want to self destruct the whole ship, you can just flip up the cover and engage. Ship
Okay.
goes boom.
That's this is awesome. How long? Oh wait, before I ask that question, is the monitor touchscreen?
No, actually not. The laptop I salvaged this from was way too old, and you can see this very well when I change the angle. It starts to
Oh yeah.
look really bad. So you really have to sit in a perfect angle in front of it. The format is really not very common anymore. It's a 17-inch display, and it has kind of weird resolution as well. Like,
So do you normally
mm,
like so then what do you normally use this for? It's a status indicator for a game?
yeah, you see, this one is 1600 by 900, so it's a really weird resolution. And yes, I have it's a plumbing pipeline basically, and the
Okay.
games are connected to the plumbing pipeline. And at the end of the plumbing pipeline, I have like the React app sitting that displays all the data on the screen from
Oh
the
my
game.
gosh.
And this one also feeds the joysticks.
So you use your standard mouse in order to interact with anything that's on the screen.
Yes, exactly. Usually this isn't needed because, all right, so I can show you this. The first thing I usually do is starting Node-RED because this is my plumbing pipeline. So when Node-RED fires up,
Node-RED is a another application that allows
yes,
you to hook
it's a
things up.
very well-known application used in a lot in home automation stuff like this, because
Oh.
you can configure inputs and outputs, also sources and sinks and stuff like this, and you can manipulate the data. And what's running inside is JavaScript in the end. And so this makes it a perfect match for what I'm doing here, because what I'm doing here is basically I get telemetry from games over various ways,
Okay.
and I sort of unify the data into one format that my stuff understands in the end. So I can keep my React app and my joystick functions stupid, and all of the logic is in the Node-RED flows.
Okay, well that was going to be another question I had then is like how much work say there's a new a flight game that you want to get into. How much work is it mapping all of this and your joysticks to the new game? Does this make it trivial?
Well, it depends on the game. Some games serve all the data on a silver platter, and I can just consume them. Like, for example, when I use Fly Dangerous here as an example, Fly Dangerous raises a UDP socket, and I can just read from this one,
Okay. Oh wow.
and I can parse the data It's converted to JSON. I'm reading JSON data. I can also set it to binary in the game, but JSON works for me because I need JSON here anyway. So, and what I'm doing now is basically just I'm converting the data I got from Fly Dangerous to the well-known format of Elite Dangerous, because this is the one I started with. And this is basically just checking what gives me the game, what would Elite Dangerous give me for this, and just setting the information the way my display know how to handle. And this isn't that much actually in Fly Dangerous, because Fly Dangerous is really just flying around and there is not much else.
Okay.
Things are more complicated with other games, but what they all do in the end is they just go back to the first flow, and this is always the same for all games. They all go through this little flow here. I'm still working on improving this and adding more functions to this, because there are so many possibilities I don't use yet.
So just on the software side, how many hours do you think that you've spent getting this? Pick your favorite game, whether it's DCS or ED, or I know it's not really Star Citizen, but like, which is your favorite game to use with this?
That'd be X4, but this is
X4. Okay.
I sunk months into this, and this is because
A month.
because X4 doesn't have any sort of API.
Right. So okay. So that's a difficult one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has mod support for the Lua language.
Okay.
And so I learned Lua, and I still think Lua is a pain in the neck. I wrote a plugin that sideloads a library called Lua Socket. This socket is basically my UDP socket here again, where this flow connects to. And then I wrote another plugin where it collects all the telemetry data I need and outputs it through the socket. There was already a similar project available as mod in Finished that was written in Python, but it used the name pipe features of Windows, and since I don't have Windows, I couldn't use this.
Yeah, this looks like you're specifically on Fedora here.
So I modified the existing plugin and managed to add UDP support.
Oh, nice. Yeah, holy cow.
Yeah, this works on any system basically, because this doesn't require a specific feature from Windows anymore.
Okay, so Beko is the standard developer that I know that is just so humble about everything. When he's like, "Yeah, this game didn't do what I wanted," and
so
it would
together and
it would run on Windows just fine. So I went ahead and learned Lua, no big deal. And then I went ahead and rewrote an entire backend to catch all of this, and now it doesn't need Windows anymore. It's like, oh my god, do you realize how amazing that is?
Yeah, it's also batshit crazy and totally niche, because nobody needs this, just me.
No, but that's still awesome. That's still amazing, and that we don't downplay those kinds of things. Like that's, do you have do you have the software out there?
Yes, it's on GitHub actually.
Okay, there you go. So if anyone needs this, go see GitHub for Beko's stuff. Like that's, dude, you don't. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, I keep seeing this thing out of the corner of my eye. The pad on the right side, right above that, it looks like some kind of ball or something that's above that. The four corners.
You mean this one?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, this one is actually a webcam off the shelf from.
Oh, it's just a webcam. Okay.
I think the year was 1999, something like this.
So what? Why do you have that?
This is pretty simple. This is for a head tracker.
Okay, so hang on. Yeah, that's as soon as you said this is pretty simple, I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's gonna like do something amazing. There's nothing simple about this, but go ahead. Yeah.
This is a DIY head tracker. So when I start this,
oh my god,
there it is. When this one is started, you can see. Infrared LEDs are here.
Yeah.
They show up on the camera in a certain angle.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, we definitely see. Yeah, we see the IR coming out of it.
I can't see this with my eyes. Just the camera can see this.
Yeah.
So, and this works like this. This camera has a filter. This is completely black. The only light that is allowed to pass through this filter is the IR light. So when I run this with a software like OpenTrack, it can identify clearly 3 dots in bright white And from this and the sizes that are known from this form, from this shape, it can calculate how I'm looking at my display. So it can track my head movements and can translate this to games.
Yeah, like you said, very easy.
It's totally easy.
That's
The trouble is translating the data you have into the game, because most games only support this proprietary and closed format of Tracker R.
yes, right. I've heard
Tracker
that one.
R is a company that tried to afraid everyone else doing something similar away from the market by waving around with loosely rated patterns. I have very strong opinions about this company behind Tracker R.
Yeah.
So the sad thing is, most games implement only this. The way to go usually is you should implement this also via UDP, because this way you have a decoupled device that isn't bound to a specific vendor.
Well, how did you do it then? Like, so again, 4X probably doesn't have a way to do this. Can you use your head tracker with this, with 4X?
Yes and
X4?
no. The thing is, the Linux binary at the moment does not feature any head tracking whatsoever. I checked with a hex editor, and the symbols needed in the game are simply not there.
Oh, okay.
You can use the Proton version through, and I also played with the idea to inject the camera position I need via my UDP socket again.
Okay.
I talked about this with the developers of X4 a while, because the sad thing is, while this would work in theory, I can't make it work because the required function to modify the player camera is not exposed via Lua. So this is at the moment not really possible, but there is the possibility to output the head tracking information to a virtual joystick, where you just get regular access. And this is in fact how I play No Man's Sky with my head tracker, where I map this to a gamepad. And on the gamepad, you have this look around access. So I can map my my head tracker to this.
Oh,
and this sort of works in the native version of X4 as well. And
oh my gosh.
I may even add, we may eventually get some news on this front, but can't tell you more.
Oh my god. So yes, very easy. All it takes is buy a $20 webcam off the internet, find the filter.
Oh, no. Make it $2.
Oh, $2. Yeah.
This
and
one
then
is really the worst, saddest piece of you can get on the market.
Well, yeah, because you're
at the time
you're covering it up with the IR filter, right?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
then you just cobble together a switch, and I'm assuming it's just a battery pack, and it's just a standard IR LEDs, right? So there really is not too much there. But then you in software map that to a controller. And then you have to translate your head movements to the control. Piece of cake.
This thing did cost me €5, and most of this was because of the fancy battery casing.
Well, how do you hold that up on your head?
Oh, Velcro. Strap it.
Oh my god. Okay, so that answers that. That's wow.
I have to tell you, I don't need this anymore, because nowadays we get the neural net tracker plugin in OpenTrack, and this just needs a webcam, determines where your face is by parsing the live feed, and it works so good. You just don't need any other tracker anymore. You don't need any clips anymore, no LEDs, no refracting stripes. Just need a boring webcam, low resolution, doesn't matter, it just works.
So that's the reason that you have the Logitech there.
Yes.
Okay.
This and video conferences for work, of course.
This is amazing. Yeah, wow, Jen, I'm hoping that I still want to see more, because Beko, you still have more to
you want
setup.
To see more? There is more. I'm glad you asked.
Yeah. So let's see some more of what you have here, because while Jan is wanting to see you actually demo it, but I think we need to get through all of it before we see a demo. So what else do we have?
Well, The next part is probably launching the joystick daemon, and this is the piece that talks to the Arduino Mega in the background. This is written in Rust, which I also learned for this.
Piece of cake. So, piece of cake, guys. All you need to do is learn electrical engineering, learn Lua, learn Rust, no network sockets. Okay. And you're telling it to listen on TTY USB.
Yes, this is where the Arduino usually resides, and the
okay.
WebSocket is the additional command, so it connects to the Node-RED process. So, and as you can see, it started blinking.
Wait, where it started blinking?
Here, the LED changed
we
to
actually
the default state. All right.
We don't see blinking.
Let me explain this.
Yeah, please.
Okay, what this did is it raises a new virtual joystick, and it connected to the WebSocket that is spawned by Node-RED. So, and when all this works, I can parse the status of the chips from a game, and when everything works, I can see this here on the LEDs on the left, and these change depending on what I'm doing.
Oh, I think I lost Beko for a second. Oh, we lost Beko. Oh, there he goes.
This is where I want to go. All right.
Oh, wow.
Translate it.
And you created this, didn't you?
Yes, this is a React application, and it's doing some fancy stuff using the Arwes library to make these fancy UIs. I didn't program most of this. I just tell it what to show where, and I'm using some CSS tricks for this. I'll bring the camera closer.
To be fair, telling it to put what where, that is programming. It might not be conventional programming, but that's still considered programming in my world. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's obviously Elite Dangerous.
Yes, this is the default icon. When I don't have a ship icon ready, I just use the Sidewinder. And this one has a CSS effect for these scan lines, and I'm a fan of these old fluorescent displays, VFDs, or what they are called. And I'm just a sucker for this effect. So I programmed this here, but I don't do it everywhere because my eyes would scream on such a huge screen when I have scan lines everywhere all the time.
Right. So to summarize, you added the flickering on the ship to be a refresh that you see.
It's just a fake scan line.
But that is a wonderful touch. I literally thought that for some reason the camera was rolling shutter, which it's a digital camera. It shouldn't have rolling shutter, but I didn't think of it.
You don't see it on the others.
No, that's true. You don't.
There is a similar effect on the grid in the background. It's like a matrix effect.
Oh my gosh!
Just goes a little bit brighter when the line sort of moves up and down, and
that's
fancy
great.
background noise.
That is great. Eddie. I was literally thinking this makes me feel like it's like a 1970s sci-fi show where you'd see the monitors flickering like that. That's Oncast chat connected. Nice.
This is actually from my own Oncast. So when I'm streaming, it can also connect to Twitch and whatnot. And
oh my god!
But I don't use this much anymore. And it also shows the in-game chat, for example, in Elite Dangerous, because I have access to these. I can show the messages here too. So every time somebody that talks to me on any stream I'm currently have available, it just shows there, and it can get very busy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and here I just have some information about is the socket available, and just so I have an idea if something crashed in the back.
Wow.
All right.
I'm like flabbergasted at this. This is way more than I ever thought. This is incredible.
Yeah, I'm batshit crazy on this, no doubt. All right, let's go back to the Node-RED flow, and let's check this one. Here I'm listening on file changes in this very far away directory that I never can keep memorized. What I'm doing now is I'm opening this directory, and this is very Elite Dangerous specific. We have a status file, this one, and I can edit this, and when I write this, I get an update on the LEDs. For example, here we have information about the pip management, I don't know. Do you have an idea what pips are in Elite Dangerous?
No.
All right, let me demo this. In Elite Dangerous, you have to configure your power. You have options to put all the power in
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
engines, or in the
Yeah.
system, or in the
Yeah.
weapon,
Yeah.
or balance all out.
Right. That
So
reminds me
this
of X-Wing, and then X-Wing
exactly
versus TIE
exactly
Fighter.
the same idea.
Yep, yep, yep.
Oh, I love this game. So when I balance this out, and this is something the game writes for me, I just write this here manually so I can demo it. And I write this, you see that this updated.
Yes.
When I put all the dots on system, for example,
And then it updates that. Yeah.
it looks like this. What it also does, it started showing a speed indicator for a short moment
Yes.
because it got data, latitude, and longitude from writing. And this is basically when my MFD starts to calculate the current airspeed of the ship and the heading, and shows the altitude and stuff like this. But since Elite doesn't tell me when this gets stale, it just disables and it doesn't get new data after, I don't know, 5 seconds, something like this. So
Okay.
when I write this freshly like now, it shows up for a very short time. Like it should show on a plane, on a real plane. It's a primary flight display where you have the speed indicator, the heading, and the altitude.
Oh, wow.
And this actually updates depending on the data it gets here. But it doesn't change here at the moment because I'm not flying.
Yeah, Wildjan asked how much time you spend on this versus actually playing the game. I mean, we talked on that briefly. Like you said that X4 you spent like a month trying to get it set up. My real question is how often do game updates or system updates break this and then you have to spend even more time fixing it?
They don't change this that much, actually.
Really? That's good to know.
No, they don't. But you see, making all this is part of the hobby. So the time spent on this is quality time for me. I know this is insane.
See, I look at this and I'm like, this is really cool. And then I'm like, this will break and I'll not want to ever fix it. So I'm never going to do it. Like I look at it as just a pain in the butt. Eddie asks, are you interpolating the data for smoother updates or are the file updates just fast enough to animate smoothly?
That's a very good question. I digged in lerp functions, or what they are called. Lerping, lerp, burp. And I'm considering doing this. At the moment, the function that draws this has some own interpolation going on. And there are games like Fly Dangerous, for example, where I had to reduce the throughput because the data was too much that was coming. And
it was feeding you too much data?
Yes, it was feeding too much data and the hood couldn't keep up anymore. And
oh my gosh.
Elite is a little bit different on this. Elite writes this data depending on a threshold. So enough data has to change for it to write this. This stuff here, the speed stuff and heading and altitude stuff, this only works near a planetary object. It does not work in space. I don't have the data in space. And when you are on a planetary and you are close to the ground, this stuff changes very often and allows for a very smooth display. The higher up you fly, the less this data changes and the less information you get. And then it starts to get a little bit janky.
Huh.
Here's, for example, the fuel reservoir. And when I change this, let's say 10, and you can see it updated down here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't think it shows well on stream. I can get
No, we could see it, yeah. Yeah, we could see it. Or mass. Legal state clean.
Yeah, this is when you are like hunted.
Which you would never do because you're a good, upstanding citizen.
Only by accident.
Only by accident, yeah.
Yeah, loitering is a crime.
It's true. So Intraz is wondering where you're located, Beko.
I'm from Germany.
Germany, yeah. We have a lot of German folks, especially those that are in Linux. Like the Germans love to tinker with stuff, it seems like.
Oh, I do. All right, let's show you some of the status indicators. This is all in the flags in Elite Dangerous. And I'm not going to explain this now because this is a little bit more complex, but I can show you the effect. All right. So we have in Elite the status file.
Oh
And
my
there
gosh,
are some.
they give you. Is this like a?
This is a fan made.
Okay, I was gonna say I didn't know if this was an official.
No,
like,
sadly not. So let's copy this.
are you able to shift the camera up a little bit for us? Possible, please.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
I'm just copying the demo here. So, and this has less data to worry about. Now you can see
Your landing gear's up.
my
You're
landing
docked.
gear is yeah, I'm docked exactly. Landing gear is out, and this is encoded in the flags information here. And for example, if I zero out the flag, so nothing is set, this is my default state, and there is a short delay here because when the landing gear comes out, it takes like 4 seconds.
Yeah,
And
it's not
simply coded in the function that controls the LED. The information is there very fast, but I know that the landing gear needs some time to come up and down, and it plays this fancy sound as well. So I program the delay.
You built a
in
timer into it to
Yes.
go slower. Nice.
So when I save this now, this changes immediately, but the gear takes some time.
Oh my gosh. Eddie asks, are all your indicators Neopixel or just the landing gear? I don't know what that means.
This is all one Neopixel. This is all one Neopixel, and it's a very long one. And I got these very bulky ones. They are like 12 millimeters, and I just fell in love with them because you usually only get those tiny glowing dots nowadays, and these one are just heavy, like I don't know. I think they were originally for like a Christmas tree, something like this, and they are also.
Those look chunky.
Yes, they are chunky, and they are also behind these. Like I can unscrew this. If I have enough strange here, this one breaks. There you go.
See what you did, Eddie? You made him break it. Now you have to buy it.
So I don't know if you can see this, but there's just a LED inside.
Yeah, kind of.
All right, let's see. What was the flag for ship in danger? All right, I'm setting the flag for ship in danger. There you go.
Wow.
This is very bright now, and let's screw the lid on it again.
So I'm assuming you just found like these diffusers and stuff, just some random website, or do you shop at a specific place that has this?
All over the net.
Just all over the net. Okay, that's kind of what I figured.
All over the net.
Yeah.
All right, let's try another one. Here is one that says scooping fuel.
So that's the light coming on for the fuel scooping?
And this is cargo scoop deployed. This LED is actually over here in this bunch here on the back.
So work in progress.
Yeah, this is still the missing panel in the middle that I'm going to add. And there we have lights on. This is when the ship lights are on, like the lights on a car.
Wow.
And this is flag assist off. This just changes color.
Oh, we couldn't see the color change.
I can do it again, no problem.
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
This is a flag assist on, and when flag assist is off, it goes like some sort of orange.
Which a noob like me, flight assist is always on.
Yeah, for me it isn't.
Yeah, I can see. I'm guessing you have more than, significantly more time into Elite Dangerous than I do when you have an entire setup like this. I hope you have more than like 20 hours that I have or whatever.
This is Super Cruise mode.
Yeah.
There is a flag for shields up. Save. This is just the blue dot here.
Okay.
And yeah, I can manually set the landing gear to down here as well.
And all the buttons either do something or you're planning on having them do something. Is that...
Yes, exactly.
Is ED Elite Dangerous your focus right now for what you want to do with everything?
Mostly X4 and Elite Dangerous are my focus at the moment. So.
And you're using Anti-Micro for something. I've used Anti-Micro to map controllers before.
Yeah, I'm mostly using this just to show the joystick at the moment because this is my primary buffer panel. This is how I call the thing. Yeah, and when I push a button,
just
off camera, here you can see it.
Yeah.
It's just triggering a regular joystick button.
Wow.
And of course, some games don't have support for multiple joysticks, so I can also just load a profile. I even have one for desktop use. This is when I use my knobs here for like scrolling a website, stuff like this, just for fun. It works.
So, when did you start this project? How many years ago, months ago, days ago? I know it's more than days, it's been years, but how long ago do you think that you really actually started on this?
Pretty much 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Okay, what just 3 years ago you're just like, okay, I'm gonna try and do this,
Yeah,
or you
yeah,
just
yeah.
started okay.
I can show you some of the first pictures.
Well, so you got a cockpit that someone was working on, and they're no longer working on the hobby, and they gave it to you. Are you planning on integrating this into the cockpit? Oh, that's like cardboard.
Yes, this is the first version.
Okay.
The one on the right, I started working on like in a live stream, and this already features the same display in the background. This is
Oh,
one
okay.
huge display in the background. Yeah, I just doodled around on stream and ordered some of these buttons and
Yeah.
recycled some other old, very, very old buttons that I already had. In the beginning, I used a Raspberry Pi actually, and later on, I switched to the Arduino Mega.
Yeah, so Eddie, the buttons are going into an Arduino Omega. Yeah, Arduino Omega or Arduino Mega. And then that's plugged into his machine via USB, and then he's picking up it from there. He sees it as a controller device. Is that what it is?
Yes, it's just a controller, a joystick,
Just
just a joystick, a virtual joystick on Linux. This is totally easy to make. I'm not sure.
I
I
just
like
sorry. Th- everything that you're talking about so far, it's always been like, yeah, it's easy, or it's just this, and it's like, dude, you don't know how hard this is. Like this is, I don't think
yeah, I have
I can.
toggles. Like this is a toggle and this is a toggle.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like you're talking like it's easy stuff. Like this is not easy stuff to do. The fact that you figured out all of this, or like it was easy for you, that's amazing. This blows my mind how this is. Like this is I don't know anything about hardware hacking, so I've never really done it. So this is kind of like really mind blowing to me.
All right, found some. Okay, so you usually have two basic kinds, and one is a momentary push button, and this works like this. There is one input basically and two outputs, and one for each side on this one. Like when it's not pressed, and when it's pressed, you get a signal on one line, and when it's not pressed, you get one on the other side. And you usually, for this kind of setup, you only need two. You only have to know is it pressed. And the other pins you see here, they are for the light. And this
Oh,
allows me
okay.
to dim them also because they are not connected on the same line. So I have a dedicated power supply for the lights. And the next kind is a real switch. This is a real switch. This one also has an LED inside. They are dead cheap. And this light on the other side, this is powered on the same line that you use to read the switch.
Right. Yeah, so if
So
it's
this
on,
is
it
this is
lights
a little
up.
bit more complicated, and this one has a real state, like it's on
Right.
or off.
It's off. Yeah.
And there are various types. There are also some that you have to keep push and they go back on their own. There are some that are off in the middle, and so many others. And I have like a whole box full of this stuff, and some are from my dad, and some are salvaged.
I mean, those are the kind of switches, again, very chunky, real feeling, and you just like flip them back and forth for fun. Eddie's wondering, are you sending only changes from the Arduino, or are you setting a full state table every single time?
Depends. Depends. Most of these momentary push buttons are right on every loop, every signal. But there are some that are not. For example, there is a rotary encoder here in this corner, and this one reads via an interrupt, and it also has a
Oh,
push
jeez.
button.
There's a push button, yeah.
And this one is another story. This is a little bit more complicated to read because the rotary encoders, you must not miss a single beat of these, because you have to determine in which direction they are going. And for this, you basically have to interrupt the current running code, have to read the states, have to cache the states so you can send them with the next write to the system.
Wow. So this is all kinds of extra
These
parts.
knobs, just knobs for
Oh,
potentiometers, for retro encoders, you name it.
You collect knobs?
I don't. This is like I told you what my dad is doing.
Yeah.
Was doing for work, and he just threw away all of his old stuff and said, "Take it. I don't need it anymore."
Nice.
So I have all kinds of these are little segment displays where you can control like every digit or part of the digit you want to light up manually.
Okay, so yeah, you could set numbers. You can have it individually addressed so that you can turn ones on to have it show different things, right?
There are some more complex ones, of course, but I'm not using any of these at the moment, but I totally will at some point.
That
this is
interacts with the game itself, right? It doesn't. Your controllers still plug into your PC via USB, so those are actually separate from the rest of it.
And as you can see, I have plenty of these.
Yes,
I prepared some, so just for the show. For example, there are some virtual gamepad controllers, and these are mapped to my to my X52. As you can see, this is mapped to a gamepad. This is for brain-dead games that don't support joysticks. And it depends on the game how I map this. I have several configurations for this.
What is the craziest game you've played with this setup that had no intention of ever being played that way?
No Man's Sky.
Okay.
No Man's Sky does not support joystick. No Man's Sky supports one gamepad.
Yeah.
Not two, one. So what I'm doing there is basically I map all the input from various devices to one gamepad, including my head tracker.
Okay.
So I can play No Man's Sky with my X52 throttle and joystick. And because No Man's Sky, for example, does not feature an X for the throttle, it only supports, you have to press the keys W and S.
Okay.
So what I'm doing here is basically loading a config that
you're
maps
mapping
the throttle when I push
to W and S.
To W and S.
Oh my gosh.
It's batshit crazy and it's clunky and
but
I still like it.
You haven't.
It feels better than using the keyboard.
Oh, No Man's Sky feels terrible. I've tried. I want to love that game. I've tried to play it so many times, and just the control scheme of it it drives me bonkers. I can't. I can never get into it. But so you've never gone like over the edge, and you're like, I'm gonna play Factorio with this, or I'm gonna play Super Mario Brothers with this.
No.
Okay, good.
No, for these I use a real gamepad.
Okay.
You can do a lot of crazy stuff with remapping the controls.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff I have to trick around with because, for example, most games cannot deal with like a real switch. When they get a signal all the time, they go bonkers.
They freak out. Yeah. So probably locks up the game.
Deep bouncing and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Many games also support only one joystick, and as you can see, if you don't use the gamepads, I still have, for example, my old F16 stick here and my Kuga throttle, and these are separate devices. And I'm also working on the old pedals that I have, and this will be a third device. And when a game supports only one joystick, you need some sort of remapping in the end, so the game only sees one. And this is sort of a pain in the neck, especially for older games. And
it's crazy.
In that case, I have to remap, for example, to keyboard buttons. I have to remap the buttons on my primary buffer panel, and so just act like a keyboard.
Yeah, right.
And the other one to a gamepad and trick the game, beat the game into submission.
Well, and that's why I wondered early on, like how long it takes you to set up a new custom config. So the answer is it wholly depends on the game. It wholly depends on, can it first off use joysticks? No. Okay. Well, then you need to map it to controller, or you need to map everything to a keyboard. And like it's not it's not a simple task to get this set up for a new game. It seems like.
Yes, it really depends on the game, and some games are very good with this. For example, X4. X4 can deal with up to 10 joysticks. It has no problem with that, at least on Linux. I'm always talking from the Linux perspective here. I know the Windows gamer have the same pain, and they usually use VJoy devices. And in fact, my primary buffer panel uses the same vendor and model ID that the VJoy devices raise, because many games
they support it.
Are not very good in supporting generic joysticks. So
Yeah.
they know what joystick is used, and the only input where they say I'm hands off, I use anything you give me is with the VJoy devices.
So you're hiding your setup behind a known ID. That's smart.
And I'm doing the same with the Thrustmaster and with the Cougar throttle here. And
gotcha.
Now listen to this.
Yeah. What is that? Why does that do that? Is that normal?
Yes, this is normal.
Oh my gosh.
This is a very old and heavy. Sorry. This is like some sort of metal, and
looks like I'm pretty sure that's black metal. So
they are very old, and they are like last generation for input devices. They use D-sub connectors. You have to modify them, and
of course,
this is why mine are modified, and they both have an Arduino Pro Micro inside that does the translation of the old electronics via USB to a computer, so the computer understands this as a regular joystick device, as a HID, in fact, human interface device. And I'm staying here as close to the original vendor and ID as possible, so the games have an idea what I'm trying to tell them, what I use here. So it really says this is a Thrustmaster device, Thrustmaster, and it's not really one, of course, and this is fine for personal use, but if they caught me selling this, they'd sue me into oblivion.
Yeah, you can't exactly use their profiles. Yeah, you'd have to be more legit than that.
Yeah. So when I check what is on the USB,
crazy.
So here you can see this is the original Thrustmaster vendor ID, and this is the device ID of the TVCF throttle that comes very close to the old Cougar.
That's awesome.
So a Windows device would be able to detect and read this as well.
Wow. So I'm gonna have to head out in just a minute or two. Is there anything that we didn't see that like you're really proud of that you want to show off, or what is your favorite thing of your entire setup?
Oh, this is a very hard question.
It's like your children, right? Which one's the favorite?
Definitely the primary buffer panel.
Yeah.
I mean, this is designed so I can remove this from my desk and work here, but most of the time I'm way too lazy for this and just use it for work as well, because it's just a display in the end. So I can run my debugger here, stuff like this, and still watch this. Or when I'm in a video conference call, for example, the view angle is pretty good when the camera is up here and I look down here.
Yeah.
So you really see eye to eye over video conference. So it's a really good impression.
Nice.
Yeah. And
how much does the whole thing weigh?
No, actually not that much. It's very light wood.
Wood's not really known for being light. It does float.
This is cheap. This is cheap wood.
It is a witch.
Pine or something like that. So I really just went to the local store and checked what do they have in store, and even the profiles here. This was pre-cut. Yeah, I didn't cut this.
Oh, okay.
Like of course I changed the length, but the size of the hook. It's just a generic default wood, and also the panels. These are the cheapest I got, and they are glued together in 2 layers.
Okay.
So I can have these fancy cutouts here.
So then,
like these, and they're just glued together and screwed onto the frame.
Yeah.
And I do have some pictures of this.
So when you plug this into your machine, this is probably gonna be the last question I have. When you plug this in your machine, you have the monitor, which has HDMI, and then you have power for that, and then you have USB for the Arduino Omega, and you have power for that, or are they drawing power from the same source?
Well, the Arduino is
That looks
made
so
in a
basic on the back of there with nothing in there. Looks like nothing. That's crazy. Sorry, go ahead.
the Mega are built in a way that they have a barrel jack connector and
Right.
also USB. And when you plug in USB, it uses the power from the USB. And when you also plug in the barrel jack connector, it is powered on the barrel jack connector. And this one also can deal with various voltages. There is also a direct power connector. That's the volt input connector. But there you have to take care that you provide the 5 volt it needs, because this isn't tweaked anymore by the device itself. So you can easily blow the Arduino this way. And the PSU I have here in the background has a rail for 5 volt and a rail for 12 volt. And all the LEDs can be powered with 12 volt, but I only power them at the moment with 5 volt also, because it's enough. They are already half blinding me if I don't take care. So
yeah, you'd get a suntan if you cranked it up to 12 volt from all the LEDs.
Yeah. So I could do this, and perhaps one day I have enough LEDs that I have to change this, and they are separated circuits. I'm not sure that they don't mix. There is a diode that prevents any backflow, so I don't blow my Arduino by accident. And when I turn this off, the Arduino just switches over to the USB power supply.
Okay. Yeah, and that was kind of my question, or my kind of thought was, there's no way that you're just powering all of this from USB. Like, yes, it can power USB, but it's not going to draw enough to power the whole setup.
As you can see, it's still there. It's just like
Nice.
Yeah, I made sure to separate this. So during regular work, day work, like the stuff that earns my money, I have the lights off because they are distracting.
Yeah.
When I'm alone in my man cave at night and I play video games, I have them on.
Nice. That's awesome. This is great. Thank you for showing this off. Really appreciate it. Does anyone else have any questions before we head out? Yeah, thank you. This is amazing. Thank you so much. I'll probably toss the video up on the PeerTube once I get it done.
Yes,
I don't know
please
if it'll be
do.
done today. Yeah.
Let me know so I can link to it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I do have a dedicated project page.
Yes, you do. That's right. I have seen it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just simpit.dev for simulated pit. And I also feature a list.
SimPit.dev.
SimPit in the press. Yeah, I was featured on various places already, like on the Arduino blog, in fact.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. What? If I remember correctly, you were on Hackaday too, right? Or was it Hackaday?
Yes, I'm also on Hackaday.
Yeah, I've seen the. It wasn't too long ago actually that you were on Hackaday. Well, yeah. Thank you. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. Everyone says they enjoyed it, so that was really cool, Beko. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, sir. You have a good one.
Thanks for having me.
Catch you later. All right. So that was, I don't know about you guys. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, let me know Eddie needs episode 2. I like that. I thought that was cool. I've actually been thinking about trying to do like an interview kind of process. I don't know if what you guys thought of I mean, Beko stuff is cool. Shoot me in games, silly. Oh yeah, silly me. I don't know what you guys thought about that. Beko stuff is obviously really cool. If this was something that you like, let me know. And I've been kicking around doing something called like Fireside Fetty, where talk to different folks on the Fetty about whatever they're interested in. Maybe trying to get Gabe to talk about Owncast, trying to get, GTS to talk about their stuff, something like that. This is hardware hacking, so obviously, it's a good name. I thought about it long and hard, actually. Fireside Fetty I thought was kind of cool, just relaxing, just kind of getting to know people and talking about whatever, and that's what the Fediverse is about, in my opinion. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for now. I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll talk to you in Matrix. Catch you next time.